You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
Will make I look upon you with compassion again. Only blood of this child from your sin.
It all sounds like some bad movie.
Hey everybody! How you
Hello.
doing?
Hello. I'm not muted. So hello. Yes.
Hello.
Welcome back after a long hiatus. Whoa. Excuse me there. That was.
Sorry
Pardon me.
about that. Scott's.
Welcome
he's
after
a little
a
hungry.
long. All right. You just go.
Well, didn't I send you? Didn't I send
Yes.
you the
Yes.
file to put at the end of that so it's not so awkward when we come in?
Yes, you did. And then I went to Vermont for 2 weeks. So now that I'm back, I'll do that.
Sure.
So yeah, we've been on a bit of a hiatus, but we're back with episode 100 and
39.
I was gonna say 80. Wow. Okay, 139.
Well.
And we're reviewing the 1982 epic sword and sorcery film.
Don
Conan
Coscarelli.
What?
I'm sorry, I stepped over you.
Oh no, I think I had the film wrong. It's not, even though it's the same year. It's not Conan the Barbarian. We're doing the Beastmaster.
The Beastmaster.
Which is kind of like the children's version of Conan the Barbarian.
Really?
I think so.
Personally, okay, being a fan of the Conan the Barbarian film, there's just as much nudity, just as much violence, and creepier imagery, I would think, than Conan the Barbarian.
It's obviously geared towards children. And let me agree with you on one thing. I grew up with this film, and I did not like Conan as a kid. I found it boring. At that age, I was 73, I was like 9.
Was infatuated with this movie.
Oh, this one, yeah.
Loved this movie growing up.
Now, I will say that the creepy imagery that you're mentioning, yeah, that nightmare fuel for decades. The Sleestack looking things that they never name, always in the back of my head. It's pure evil. And the freaky ass ring, but we'll talk about that later. One thing I was surprised about watching this now, having not seen it in decades, was I do not remember as much nudity as there is in this.
Yeah.
I'm shocked at the amount of breasts I was exposed to at that young of age repeatedly on HBO.
Just want to say, more nudity than in here than visiting hours. Just wanted to point that out.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
There was no nudity in visiting hours.
No, I was about to say, I don't remember that much in visiting hours. But that was, I'm not sure if that was because there was no nudity or it's because Michael Ironside in the black latex muscle shirt kind of blocked that memory out. You got to make sure you're not fooling yourself there. But no, a lot of breasts in this film, including those of Tanya Roberts.
Yes. It's interesting. It's interesting you bring her up. She did another film only a couple of years after this called Sheena. You remember that one?
Yeah.
Now, and I haven't revisited that film since I was a kid, but there is a shot in that movie where the love interest, the American actor, or he plays an American in the film, she's up like in a tree, okay? And she's wearing like the short, skirty loincloth thing, just like she's wearing in this movie. And there is a shot of him looking up, like the camera looking up with him in the shot looking up at her. And I swear to God, to this day, you see her vagina.
Well, is that available on Netflix or?
I don't know.
Okay.
It probably is. I'm sure it's attainable, but because it's so skimpy, this loincloth.
Yeah.
You see full vagina. It's pretty incredible. I have this memory, it just burned into my brain because I saw it obviously when I was a kid.
It's funny you bring up vagina. No, I mean it's funny you bring up Sheena because that was if I was talking about the film with Holly, who did not watch it with me because of scheduling conflicts, so I was not able to subject her to watching the whole thing. Okay. But I was talking about the tiger, about the fact that they were dyeing the tiger black and that it died later, and even in scenes where
they killed that tiger.
Right, and there's even scenes where you can see like around the mouth, and even in the back in one part where you can see stripes coming through. And the big question is, why do they have to dye it black in the first place? What, did it have to be a leopard? Couldn't they just say it was a tiger? It was just as impressive.
No, the color understandable.
Color makes no difference. It's like somebody said. It's like the director said, or producer said, "We you know what? This should be black." And they said, "Okay, we'll do it." Instead of someone saying, "Why the fuck does it have to be black?"
This is based on a book, and maybe it's that way loosely. In the book. I don't know. It is loosely based.
It's loosely enough based where they don't have to keep it black. So somebody made a very bad decision.
Yeah, that tiger died 2 years later because of the dye. It got It got a skin disease, probably turned to cancer, and died.
But there's no real reason for it to have to be a black leopard or a black whatever the hell. I mean, there's no point in the film where you're going to watch it and go, "Hang on a second, in that region of the continent that they're in," which they never say. I don't think that the regular striped tiger is indigenous to that area. No one's going to say that watching this film, because he's talking to birds and shit. So
this film is PETA's worst nightmare. The amount of animal abuse in this film is staggering.
This film is why PETA exists.
In the beginning of the film, just to get it in there, they have the shot his dog, okay, who is his loyal companion. And the dog, at one point, the dog is dragging him away because he gets knocked unconscious. But the dog has an arrow in its side. Okay? Mm-hmm. Well, the shot, once he comes to, he sees that his dog is dead, which you see breathing, by the way, but I'm not going to nitpick that much. But the dog is dead.
All right, so wait. Are you complaining that the dog is such a poor actor that it didn't stop breathing?
No, I'm complaining that the director did not choose shots where you could see the dog breathe. I mean, he showed shots where you could see the dog breathing. It's like, give me a break. Anyway, there's a shot of him carrying this dog because his whole family is slaughtered. Okay, and there's a shot of him carrying this dog to his father, or the guy that finds him. Well, anyway, you could clearly see that this dog is sedated. It is not a fake dog. It is. They had a vet on site or something. They shot this dog up full of something, and they sedated this dog for the shot. How do you get away with that?
Well, they apparently they canceled or fired the animal trainer, or the original animal trainer, halfway through the film and hired a new one. So it probably had something to do with it. Also, stuff I was reading when I was looking up on the horror stories behind the film was the hawk had a tendency not to do what it was told, as far as ordering it to fly. So they had to drop it out of. They just fly it up and drop it out of a balloon.
Fucking hot air balloon. They also fired the animal trainer halfway through the production.
That's what because
no. You said the hawk. It wasn't listening.
No. I said before that. I said they fired the animal trainer halfway through the film. I'm sorry. Damn it, man! I just said that.
I thought you texted me, and I looked at it. I thought that was going to be like your new thing. Text you? I don't know.
Professional. My phone is off and to the side, sir.
So is mine. But I thought you would.
Which is why you're answering texts.
No, I didn't answer it. I just looked at it. I was like, is Scott texting me because I'm talking right now? That's what I thought.
Wow.
Anyway, they were dropping this hawk out of a hot air balloon. They killed the tiger, sedated the dog. They dropped a ferret in a pile of mud, a fucking
water,
quicksand.
Water with sand in it. Let's be fair.
Okay, quicksand. That's what it was supposed to be. And when that ferret goes down and under, I'm like, I wonder how many ferrets they lost doing this shot. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Did they really have to show it go completely under? Because it's not like it's a glass tank underneath where there's someone underneath monitoring this ferret. It is just a hole in the ground filled with water and sand, and they dropped this ferret in it and then reached down in and just was like, hopefully we can get this fucking thing out.
Now you mentioned I mentioned dropping the hawk out of the hot air balloon.
Yeah.
And it kind of seems funny at first. What a hot air balloon, drop it out of that. Then again, but you can't really like throw a hawk out of the side of like a Cessna.
True.
I mean, you got some speed going there. You got to let it coast.
Yeah. Well, that and the fact that the hot air balloon is silent, and
they're not shooting.
It's easier to film.
They're not shooting sound for a flying hawk. That is definitely what do you call it? B-roll. That's your secondary crew out there filming the hawk. They're not doing a sound check for the hawk, floating like hundreds of feet in the air.
Well, I'm sure it was easier to drop him out of a balloon because it's not going to rattle the fucking hawk because it's making so much noise. The hot air balloon is silent.
And also, if you're flying like 100 miles an hour or what have you, and you're throwing birds out, I have no idea how fast airplanes go. So I'm just
probably
throwing
end up in
the
fucking turbine anyway.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, balloon's probably the safest thing to do. Probably the safest thing they did with animals on that entire shoot was using a balloon instead of like a Cessna.
Yeah. Another scene in the film. It's on right now. It's where she brands the kid with the hot iron.
Now, when you say she, let's back up for those of our audience who have not watched The Beastmaster. The basic setting of the film is there's this king that clashes with an evil cult leader,
right.
Played by Rip Torn.
Yes. Which
is really the perfect choice for any cult leader.
Well, they actually said
they
tried to get Klaus Kinski, but couldn't because of conflicts, I guess money maybe.
And I think that's probably better for them because Klaus Kinski is not exactly the best person to work with, period. But I think Rip Torn doing Klaus Kinski, at least you can understand what Rip Torn's saying.
Yeah.
Okay?
True. Yeah.
And there's not going to be violence on set. So Rip Torn's such an evil cult leader that he has all his... I made notes during the film, and I forgot my notes, but I know I wrote down that it's never a good sign that the cult you join makes you carry a portable gallows with you wherever you go.
Yeah.
Just in case the cult leader wants you to prove how loyal his subjects are by hanging yourself at a moment's notice.
Yeah, it's
never a good sign.
Yeah, never good.
Yeah. So the king clashes with Rip Torn, Mayax.
Which sounds like a cleaning product. I'm sorry.
Good. I'd buy it with Rip Torn on the cover.
My counters just won't get clean. Have you tried Mayax?
And Mayax has been told by the three witches from Hamlet, although they're kind of hot except for their faces.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird thing. They got three hot chicks to play the witches and have them bending over and doing the thing, but then they have skin falling off their faces. So it's a mixed bag. And they tell him that the king's newborn is going to, or unborn son is going to kill him. So he's like, well, fuck that. I'm going to...
He will die tonight!
But he makes the mistake of telling the king, or we're sacrificing your unborn son. The king says, no. So he has Mayax banished, but then one of the witches... now, again, and once again, never get witches involved in anything, because witches are just stupid, and there's always this long, drawn-out, complex plot. Tell the witch, I want the unborn son dead. Now, what would if you told a normal person that? What would they do? Okay, all right, I'll sneak into the tent. Apparently the king lives in a tent. And I'll stab her in the stomach, killing the mother and the unborn child. What's the witch going to do? No, that's not going to work. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go in. I'm going to pour...
Easy.
Yeah, it's way too easy. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go in there. I'm going to bring an ox. What's with the ox? Give me some time. I'm going to bring an ox. I'm going to pour some glowing blue stuff on their necks. This will prevent them from getting up, but they'll still be aware and conscious. So you don't want to just like bludgeon them to death or sleep. No. Blue stuff, they can't move. And now you stab her in the stomach. No, now I'm going to perform a ritual and teleport the unborn fetus into the ox. And why are you doing that? Well, so that I can take the ox somewhere else, have the ox give birth to the newborn, and then kill it next to a fire.
Right. There's some blue weird fire.
Right. This is why you don't get witches involved in anything that involves planning. Because they just go ape shit. She probably had like the ox and the blue liquid stuff just laying around. It's like, well, I'm going to use it because I've got it.
Yeah. Can I just point something out? And this is just an observation. It's a movie, so again, nitpicky. She brands the kid's hand with like this symbol that shows that he's the next, the king. When the father. What?
No.
It's
the symbol of the god.
Well, no, I thought it was the symbol of the kingdom, or like it's like the shape of the kingdom or some shit.
Oh, it's a symbol of the god. It's a symbol. It's like Mayax's symbol, which is the confusing part because it's not the kingdom symbol. It's Mayax's symbol. I was almost pretty sure it was because it's something.
All right, whatever. That's not the point I'm trying to make. The kid gets it when it's like 6 minutes old. Yet it's the same size through adulthood.
Well, yeah, I mean, sure,
is supposed to represent that because it's magic, it's always going to be present. But it just seemed like it was an iron stuck in a fire, just branded onto the kid's hand.
And it didn't really heal that well after that many years either. It was still black and fresh.
It's the same size.
Now, it never occurred to me back watching this as a child, of course. And they never bring it up in the film, but it is my understanding that since the child was born of an ox due to witchcraftery, that is how he gained the ability to speak with the animals? Did you take that away as well?
No.
No. Then where did he get the power to speak to the animals? That's the only rationale I can think of for why he can speak to the animals, because he was in an ox at one point.
Yeah, no, I didn't get it from that actually.
It's the only thing that makes sense to me.
I got it. The way I took it was because he was magically transported, not because he was actually in the animal, just because he was magically transported.
So you
just
think
because magic was involved at all was the reason why.
It was the teleportation from the womb itself that gave him the power to speak with animals, not the fact that he was teleported into an animal.
Well, I mean, shouldn't he have been able to talk to fucking oxen?
I don't. Well, again, now we're talking.
What a shitty gift.
He should have had an oxen. And,
wow.
And for somebody stranded in the middle of the desert, maybe he could have befriended a horse.
Yeah, right.
No, don't make friends with anything you can ride to save you time. Make friends with things that scare passerbys, fly around whenever they want to, and you have to carry. Yeah, good call.
But then they couldn't oil him up every 5 minutes.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Well, you don't sweat riding a horse?
Not as much as if you're walking around.
Now, and speaking of that, I mean, as with most classic sword and fantasy films, the how good you are as an individual and how evil you are is dependent on the amount of clothing you're wearing.
Pretty much.
Ajax, pure evil. Robes, head the bottom. His henchmen, robes but sleeveless because they're not as evil.
Right.
And then you work your way down to Marc Singer, loincloth, nothing else.
Well, the thing is, he's wearing a lot more clothes until he figures out that he has all these mystical powers and he's good at sword play and all that shit. Then he takes everything off.
He takes everything off once he becomes a hero and decides he's on a quest to avenge. Now, all of a sudden, he's a good guy, not just an average person. And then you've got John Amos, Mr. Good Times, who...
James!
How come J.J. Walker wasn't in this film? That would have made it.
Dynamite!
Now, he's robed at first, but then he and the young white child he's with at one point disrobe, and they're wearing like the ass cheek side kind of showing get up. They're not as naked as Marc Singer, but they're close enough to be uncomfortable in a bus.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Pretty much. Yeah, it's bad.
But don't get me wrong though. The clothing translation towards evil or goodness only works for the men. Women obviously are going to be more or less clothed based on breasts.
Oh, pretty much.
That has nothing to do with good or evil.
Well, Tanya Roberts, throughout the whole film, she's wearing like her loinclothy thing, right? And then, not near the end. It's like 3/4 of the way. There's the storm in the castle, okay? And basically, she has the only thing different is like this utility belt. And Marc Singer's staring at her, is like, why is she dressed like that? She's got one different thing that she was wearing the entire time.
I don't want to jump ahead, but that whole scene when they're sneaking into the religious temple,
yeah,
since she was a slave there, they're trying to find their way around. She sneaks away, finds a hidden door, just changes clothing, then comes back out. It's like, is there a hidden passageway? The ghost? No, that never comes up.
Yeah.
It's just,
well, and the fact that you find out that she's some warrior princess, and it's like, man, she sucked until that point.
Yeah.
But anyway, speaking of things,
hold on. I gotta stop you. I gotta stop you. Only because I have to back up because one of our listeners posted in the chat room. We were talking about the ox, how he got the powers, and you said that how come we couldn't talk to an ox? He said they could have called it the Oxmaster, but then of course they would have had to dye the ox black, which I found funny, so I had to mention it.
Ask our listener if they can see video. If they have a problem with video.
Can you see video, Mr. Listener? Well, you just ask them themselves. If they're listening or watching, then they can hear you. So I don't have to translate for you.
Only because, for whatever reason, live stream is not showing video on my end, but it's saying it's streaming it properly.
Really? I'll double check on mine while we're going. I mean, but I cut you off.
Regardless of whether it's showing video on my end or not, or even out in internet land, the video is being copied to my computer no matter what. Anyway, growing up as a kid, I never realized until rewatching, because the last time I saw this was probably 20 years ago. Easy. Yes. Maybe even 25 years ago plus.
Yeah.
I never realized that this film had a fourth fucking act until I rewatched this.
Oh, yeah, yes, we have video.
Good. I mean, did you notice that it has a fourth act?
I wouldn't call it a fourth act. I'd call it like a very short third act. I don't know. It's hard
dude,
to put
it's 25 minutes long. It's a fourth act.
Well, I wouldn't call it a fourth act, though, like the way that people complained with The Dark Knight.
No, but this is also 32 years ago. I mean, did films have fourth acts that long ago? I didn't think so.
I would call it a fourth act. I would say it's a deceptive third act. I think that the second act kind of breaks itself up into two parts.
You think so?
Or actually the third act's in two parts, but I wouldn't go as far as to call it a fourth act. I thought the film was actually surprisingly well paced for this kind of movie. There's no point where you really get bored.
No, it moves really well.
And let's be fair, great cinematography. It is a beautiful film.
Oh, sure.
For the low budget, it must have had, and the budget's actually not as low as you might think.
$8 million bucks. It's a lot of money. Fucking 32 years ago.
Yeah, especially for what's technically a low budget film. I mean, technically it's a low budget film. It's not a blockbuster Hollywood movie, so $8 million is a pretty good penny to get behind it. But yeah, it's. I would just say it's like because that first climax isn't really that long. It's like, oh, he captured everybody. Okay, I'll go kill him. All right, kill him. There's no build up to that. The big build up is to the Jun horde. And let's talk about names for a second. Our hero's name is Dar. Dar.
Yeah.
I like the one part. Who are you? There's a pause. I'm Dar.
And immediately I was like, I'm dumb.
I'm Dar. But then the next time when he's with John Amos, whose name is Seth, he has a real name. He's like the only one with a real name.
Oh, I was actually going to build up to that. It's like, yeah, I'm Dar. I'm Tao. I'm Zed. My name's Seth. The fuck did Seth come from?
When he was with Seth and they asked, who is this man? he looks at Seth and Seth's like, he's the Beastmaster. It's like, tell him your name's Dar.
God. What's wrong with this movie? I remembered enjoying this film I remember, okay, when I saw it, I was a kid. Like I said, I was infatuated with this movie. Loved it. Probably thought it was the best film ever made. Rewatching it now as an adult, yeah, I don't think that way anymore.
Well, I like the scene where Marc Singer tries to date rape Tanya Roberts. That's fun.
Yeah. I keep wanting to say Tanya Harding. I don't know why.
I saved your life. I'll settle this as a reward. And just immediately rams his tongue down her throat.
Yeah, and she's not pushing back. He's just staring at the tigers. He's like, yeah.
She's struggling enough.
Not enough. Not enough.
Enough where it's not wanted. I mean, she's a slave girl, so maybe, that
and he's just staring at the tigers like, yeah, look at that. You like that? It's like, you helped made this happen. I just want to let you know. High five.
And then they have the whole thing where she pins him and then he pins her. It's like, oh, no, it's a back and forth. No, he's pinning her to the ground.
Yeah, and the way he pins her at one point, it's just like, his dick's going to fall out of that. I know it.
Fall out of what?
The skimpy-ass loincloth he was wearing.
That's my point by saying what. There's nothing there to fall out of. It's that small. That was an allusion to that.
That's what okay.
And he but you bring, never mind. You
ruined my joke.
No, you ruined my joke. Thank you.
No. I said the joke first, and if you left it alone, it could have sat there and have been fine.
No,
we get that it's fucking tiny. We've been talking about it for the last half hour.
Right. My addition underlined the joke. Then you kept going.
I didn't keep going. I stopped.
No, you didn't. Because then you kept talking.
Because you ruined my joke. All right. Let's move on.
Joke better.
Really? You made the show better right now. I'll give you that. But not my joke. My joke was fine. So she has to get back because if she goes missing too long, they'll kill her parents. You know? Which we don't ever get to see.
Well, her parents or them getting killed?
Well, her parents.
Okay.
Plus, the person that she's with when she's in the water, like where they're topless, you never see that person again either. It's just like, yeah, we just need an extra pair of breasts for this shot. Anyone want to volunteer? Okay, come on, let's go. I mean,
always use an extra pair of breasts.
Well, sure. Oh, this is the shot where he's on top of the mountain practicing swordplay with a stick or a big like, tree limb. And it's just, he does that through the entire film where he's just like, see how cut I am? This is 10 hours a day at the gym, bitch. I mean, just that's all that's for. And I love it when he actually moves to a sword and he's swinging it around. And his last shot goes like behind his back a little bit. And I was just thinking, man, it would have been awesome if he just filleted his own back open.
And just he's like not that great with a sword either.
No, he's fucking terrible. And I love it when there's a shot where he's running through the water with it, and he's just like, whoosh, 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 like a retard. It's just running, just like, this is so new and great. It's like, what is your problem?
I can see him going to the director. As shouldn't I be like some kind of like boot camp to learn swordplay and so that Marc, go put your loincloth on and oil up. All right, shut up.
Just fucking wing it.
I think we know what's important for the scene, Mr. Method Actor.
Yeah, here it is. He's like whoosh, whoosh.
Now,
like,
but you kind of
my 4-year-old could do that. Jesus.
We kind of skipped a bit of the story for anybody who hasn't seen the film, and let's be fair, we want to prevent people from watching the film in some ways. Yeah. So after the Beastmaster is born from the oxen, a wandering farmer finds the witch about to kill him and kills the witch and takes him back home as his own son, which I'm assuming happened a lot that time period.
Sure.
Every time your husband went away for like a 10-day journey to do trading, whatever, there's like a 50% chance he's going to come back with a newborn or a dog or something like that.
And holds it up to the people, which is like, yes, look what I've brought. And there's somebody out there going, fuck, again?
And
what is wrong with you?
Half the time, they're definitely just eating them, too.
Maybe.
I couldn't trade for any pork, but I found the newborn.
Oh, wants to change dirty diapers all day.
Or have a convenient alternative to turkey.
Or that.
Or that. So he raises the kid as his own and teaches him how to sword fight, supposedly, and play with this weird-ass boomerang knife that's used once in the film.
Well, the father uses it once.
I mean, by the Beastmaster.
By him, yeah, it's once, yeah.
It's the father shows him how to use it. Then the Beastmaster uses it when he's saving. What did he call the tiger? I forgot the name. I know the weasels.
Roo.
Was it Roo?
Roo. Or
Roo. Like a kangaroo.
Like he rolled his R a little bit when he said it. Roo.
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 So when he saves Roo from the people that were apparently just chasing a panther down for kicks, he uses it then. And then through every other fight scene, this thing doesn't come into play again. And then at the very end, when he gives it to his half brother or whatever, as the next king, it's almost you honestly, you've forgotten this thing exists. You're like, oh, okay. Like when the kid opens it, he's surprised. As the audience, you're surprised too because you haven't seen this fucking thing in over an hour.
Right.
You forgot it had any bearing on the film whatsoever. And
speaking of that, he finds out he has a brother. Now, nobody mentions this. Half-brother. It's still from his father's loins. So...
Well, I kind of like the fact that he comes into this whole thing, and then even when he discovers that he's the son, he doesn't let on, because he's like, you know what? I don't belong anywhere. I'm just going to go wander with the animals.
Right.
And when he meets his father... I love the fact that he meets his blind, elderly king father, and the father turns on him. We shouldn't attack because, there's a lot of army out there. So, coward, go back in the hole with your animals.
And then he walks away crying. And, of course, he's especially oiled up for that scene because the director, I can see it. The director says, listen, we got a crying scene here. We got a crying scene here, and we can't make you look like a pussy, so we're gonna oil you up real good. All right, so we're gonna show the ladies that you're strong, but you can cry when you have to. And then Marc Singer's like, "Whoa, Don, what are you doing?" He goes, "I'm oiling you up." Yeah, but can we get somebody else to do it? No.
Olive oil. No, but he doesn't. When after his blind king ex-father or whatever calls him a coward and tells him to run back with his animals, he doesn't move. But then the tiger leaves, the panther, the Roo leaves, and then he's like, "Oh, okay, I guess I'm leaving then." So even then, he takes his lead from the animal. But jumping back again.
Well, can I just mention something real quick about the bloodline that's there? He finds out he's got a brother. Yeah. Okay? And then they start talk because they meet up. They help him get his tiger out of the pit. And he finds out that he's chasing after this kid, his brother's. He goes, oh, she's my cousin. So that makes her his cousin too.
Not necessarily.
It's like twice removed, but they're still related.
Not by blood, technically. I think the thing. I think what the insinuation is, and there's been apparently this is a big debate amongst the Beastmaster fans on the news groups. So this is not new.
Oh, really? All right.
Yeah, and apparently
it's just obviously it's something I noticed now. I didn't know it when I was a kid.
Obviously, you noticed it. But there's two main camps.
The hell does that mean?
Nothing. I don't know.
Obviously nothing.
There's two main camps. There's the one camp that says, yeah, they were cousins, and that's why he left. And there's the other camp that says, no, they weren't cousins. They were not by blood relation because the king married another person, a new queen who already had the daughter, and the son was born from him. So it's a half brother and then a step sister.
Do we know that as fact? I mean, is that like in the book or some shit? It's not mentioned in the movie.
All right. I didn't care enough to actually get into it. Because I was more... You know what I cared about? How come he talks to the hawk in hawk language, but he doesn't talk to the panther or the ferrets in their language?
I was thinking the same fucking thing. Because every time he went, rah! Whatever the fuck, it's like, does he really have to talk in fucking bird language to this thing? He doesn't do that to anything else.
I can tell you exactly what happened. I guarantee Marc's on set and he goes to the directors. Hey, I can do this. Like, good, we'll put it in. You want him to growl and stuff? No, he sounds idiot. It's like an idiot when he does, No, that was just purely like I guarantee that was just the actor was like, I could do this. Yeah, do that, Marc. Go ahead.
And of course they added fucking reverb and echo to it to try and make it sound cool. But in the trailer, they don't have the reverb or echoes. He just sounds like an idiot. I bet that trailer was done before the film was finished. And they went and did that echoey shit in post. That
trailer, every time that trailer starts, I think of Army of Darkness. Because it's foretold by, I was like, wise guys, or wise men. It's like, it's right there. It's almost like they copied it. And near the end, it was like, they actually used the word phantasmagorical.
Yeah, they sure did.
Just pulling all the stops out. And they reversed the film when the farmer finds the witch trying to kill the newborn Beastmaster. She flings the sword out of his hand, and it goes flying way up in the air, and then sticks in the ground like right in front of him, so it had no effect whatsoever. And they reversed it so it looked like he was catching it when it fell.
Oh, yeah.
So why?
Tanya Roberts' boobies.
Oh. Where?
On screen.
I see it.
This is a really good shot of her boobs, too.
That's I think it's the only shot of her boobs. She doesn't get naked again, does she?
I don't think she was naked in another film for a long time after this either. Like even in Sheena, she didn't do topless. At least I don't think she did.
No, Sheena was like geared towards kids, wasn't it? Like this.
So was this.
But Sheena was how many years later? I think at a certain point they stopped doing
I think Sheena was only 2 years later. It was like 1984. Sheena was like only rated PG, just like this was.
I can't believe this is PG. They're throwing children into the...
There was no PG-13 when it was made.
Right. Can I just say, Rip Torn steals the fucking film, and the best part is when the Beastmaster sneaks into the village, or in the city, whatever the hell it is, Mud Hut Town, for the first time. And again, wandering around the desert in a loincloth, the one great advantage of that is disguising yourself is just putting clothes on. He walks in the village. Let me put a shirt on. Oh, suddenly I'm unrecognizable. And so he insinuates himself in the crowd, and Rip Torn's on top doing his big witch, what's the fucking word I was
sacrifice?
Well, big sacrifice, but witch doctors I was trying to think of. But big cult leader thing, so he's taking these little kids, holding them over his head, laughing maniacally. Probably not the first time Rip Torn's been caught on film throwing children into a fire pit, and throws the kid into the fire. Then he says, I need another one! What's the name of the god? It was like Lar or something like that? I every time you mention the name of the god, I zoned out for a second.
I don't remember.
But it's like, Czar needs another child. And you got to figure this if this is not like a monthly event, he's burning through through kids in this town. How many kids can there be in this area in this little city,
little village? Yeah,
he's burning through two in one sacrifice thing. I mean, if you're gonna do an encore for music, that's okay. You can't do a sacrifice encore because you're just burning through your material, literally.
Pretty much,
he grabs So he grabs the second child. And Beastmaster says, oh, no, you're not. So he calls his hawk buddy, who swings down, and as he throws the kid into the fire, the hawk impossibly grabs the child and flies away with it.
Impossibly.
Impossibly. I'm willing to believe he talks with animals. I'm not willing to believe the hawk carried like a 5-year-old.
Well, yeah.
Now, but then, so I saved the day. That's cool. And then Rip Torn, best Mayax fucking rules. Doesn't miss a beat. So looks up and goes, see? Czar wants your children! Fuck, that backfired, didn't it?
Yeah, and his father is the poor man's Buddy Hackett. I mean, holy shit.
I just love how Mayax takes control of the situation. So now there's proof that the god wants me to kill your children. Didn't think of that one, huh? Did you, Dar?
Dar.
Yeah, Drip Torn really needed more dialogue in this film.
Yeah, for him being in the entire movie, his part was so small. He had a lot of screen time, but hardly any dialogue. You're right.
What are the odds that Rip Torn nailed at least one of the witches? Come on. At least one.
And he told her to keep the makeup on, too, I bet.
Oh, you fucking know it. Lady, I'm a professional. We don't have time.
Keep the makeup on. Keep the makeup on.
Move it to the left, lady. I mean, it's weird. I've said it before. That image is in my head now, and it won't go away.
It sure won't. Ugh.
You like the teeth, don't you, lady? Come on, let's do it.
Ugh.
You pull my braids. How about that? We'll try something new. Definitely a change from defending your life.
A little bit.
Now, I mean, looking at all this stuff, looking at the naked, the half-naked witches, the breastesses, the oiled-up beefcake guys running around throwing swords at each other, people being killed. The freakiest fucking thing in the whole film that still haunts me to this day are the sleestack-looking guys, the giant man bats. Yeah,
they basically wrap themselves around you and then just basically consume you.
They suck the juice out of you. Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah,
and
which
our
that
hero,
scene is on now, by the way.
So our hero stumbles into the lair of these gigantic creatures that eat people, and he's perfectly okay with making a pact with them because, well, they're letting me go. He's perfectly fine with being indoctrinated as an honorary evil human bat-looking motherfucker because they let him go because of the hawk. Because apparently giant bat creatures worship birds.
Lucky him.
And then later he brings them to go get them, having no idea if they're gonna consume the entire city as well.
Yeah, they might have not even bothered.
Yeah, but as a kid that freaked me the fuck out. And because if you're not, for those listening, they're just they're like big green bat people with no faces except for eyes and webs under their arms, and so they go up behind somebody and then surround them like a shower curtain.
That scene is it's on right now.
Well, it's freaky as shit.
It's
and then
fucking disgusting. Oh, he's just coming out like goop.
Yeah, and they suck all the fluid out of the body. But the creepiest part is that the people will press their faces into the shower curtain webs under the arms.
They just showed it now.
Kind of like Patrick McGowan in The Prisoner with the white balls. And then they open their arms with kind of a flourish and dispose of the clothing and the bones. Ugh. Completely just disturbing as a child. And they're the good. They're technically the good guys.
Yeah, and like I said, this was one of my all-time favorite films growing up as a kid, and to this day, it's like you said, burned into your psyche. Just I'll never ever not remember this ever.
The only thing that creeps me out more than that is the ring with the eyeball in it. And I don't know why, but that's just a creepy fucking ring with the eyeball looking around.
Yeah, I think the eyeball ring never really bothered me that much.
I think it bothers me because I know he sticks when they eventually find out what it is. John Amos sticks a hot stick in it.
Yeah,
and I don't care. I don't care if it's in a ring. Sticking a hot stick in an eye is just painful to watch.
Sure.
Because it's a realistic human eyeball, at least as far as it's a human eyeball, and so, ooh. Yeah, but those things don't have a name. They're not in the credits.
They don't have a name at all.
I watched the credits, and the credits give for all the other extras in the film. It didn't give any credits for the people wearing those suits. It didn't give a name for that.
Before we end the show, I can fast forward to the credits of the movie and see.
You can do that and see if I'm wrong, but I watched them, and I'm pretty sure that they do not mention those things in the credits.
Oh, really?
And I'll double check the. They have the witch women on their credits. I'm looking at the IMDb's list of them as well. I love they have the hanging priests.
Of course they do.
They've got the death guards. You've got the Yun priests. And that's it. There's Boatman. There's nothing here about creepy bat creatures. There's no name for them. Oh, no, there's one. Winged creature leader. That's it. It's a winged creature. They don't even bother giving it a name. And they only give the name of the actor that acts as the leader. Because there's like 3 of them that wear the masks when you see them, like up close. So they don't give any credit to anybody else wearing the big giant bat people costumes, and they don't give them a proper name. They should have a proper name. But I like that, though. I just like that. This film deserves to be remade.
I would see a remake of this for sure.
I mean, because the one thing that's missing from this film is John Amos and Marc Singer are battling the last of the Jun horde outside of the city gates, and they're surrounded. And all of a sudden, these gigantic bat creatures come out of nowhere and start sucking the marrow out of everybody, and nobody, or John Amos mainly, doesn't turn the Beastmaster and go, "What the fuck are these things?" He just follows Mark's lead. I think we should get out of here. So, yeah, I think we should. Are they going to leave when they're done, or are they going to come back in for dessert? What the fuck are these things? He takes it way too well.
Yeah, no, you're right. When they show, even they're staring people down, and it's just like, okay.
Oh yeah, and our listeners mentioned too the other freaky scene, which is right out of Star Trek Wrath of Khan, is when they create the berserkers.
Oh, with the little lychee thing, the glow in the dark lychee worm thing.
And you know what? I swear that scene, they ripped that whole scene off where the kid and Beastmaster are looking down the grate, and the kid's telling him how they create these mindless beasts. Tell me, fucking Temple of Doom didn't rip that shit off.
Yeah, only 2 years later.
That scene is right out of Beastmaster.
Yeah.
I'm dead serious about that. I mean, it's too similar to be a coincidence. Even having the kid explain it, and the fact that they're looking down from a vantage point, and they're creating mindless followers, and too much of the similarities there. But yeah, the whole thing where them putting the little green slugs into the guy's ear to eat his brains out, not as creepy as to me as a kid as when they crank the latch on the back of the mask. It's like,
yeah,
something about that. Yeah, that's a bit too.
Securing that shit, just like that scene, especially what he's wearing too, like with the things on his arms, looked very eerily similar to that fucking thing that Conan fights near the beginning of the film. Remember when they have Conan? They have him in the pit. And he's got these claws, and he's got these spike things on his arms, and he's biting at his neck, and Schwarzenegger's just doing his he's just making those noises. It's just because the films came out around the same time. It's just it looked way too much like the Conan, the guy that the villain that Conan fights in the beginning of the film.
I don't think there's any coincidence in that, and I think Beastmaster. Without any proof, I didn't do any research on this, but really, Conan being the bigger blockbuster film as far as budget and everything else, obviously that had a longer pre-production time and a longer production time. Beastmaster is obviously one of the things. Listen, they're coming out with this big sword and fantasy film. We need to rush one out there. You like that one book? Let's make this. I can get funding for it. We're going to film it overseas. We'll use captured funds, and we'll crank this out. Even the basic, ignore the whole Beastmaster thing. The basic premise. Young child, stolen in infancy, raised elsewhere, travels to fight this evil horde that resulted in his family's death. That's Conan.
Pretty much.
Now, Conan didn't have such a happy-go-lucky childhood. He was pretty much strapped to a mill for 20 years. And he punched a camel, so it's the opposite as far as animal friendliness.
Punched a camel.
punched a camel, killed the snake. There's a lot of anti-animal stuff going on there. I don't know if that. I doubt that was actually the reason why they made the Beastmaster so animal friendly, but you can definitely see the basic similarity in plot structure to what they were doing.
You know, it's interesting too. The bad guy.
I have to mention briefly, since we talk about the crazy
Sure.
bat creatures with no name. Listener asked if the short guy that is eaten by the bat creatures when we first meet them is in the credits, and he is.
As?
And I want to give a shout out to Henry Carbo, who played Man in Cage. and I have to give them credit. I think it's nice of them to bill him as Man in Cage and not Man sucked dry by bat creatures.
Winged creatures.
They're bat creatures. You can say winged. They don't fly, do they? I mean, they could. They never showed them fly. They showed them hover away, but they didn't really flap. So that's not flying. That's more just like.
Well, they
like
don't have the budget to do that. They just showed the camera, like probably a crane shot, just moving away from Marc Singer.
Yeah, but while they were moving away, their arms were still wrapped around them. They weren't flapping or anything. So I don't know if you can call that flying. Maybe levitating. But that would be magic, so you can't. I mean, you could still be flying, but they wouldn't be winged creatures for that. They would be winged creatures.
The leader
so
of
really wings. There's nothing to convince me those are wings.
Right.
That's webbing, not wings.
Definitely. Well, bats have webbing, pretty much. So, anyway.
But they're on their wings.
And bats can fly. They just. We're digging too deep.
I'm standing firm on my belief that those creatures don't fly by flapping their wings. That's all I'm saying.
Don't flap that much. They flap a few times.
Whatever.
This is stupid flap. Now.
What? You're the one who want to argue with me. I'm right. I don't know.
I don't think so. Anyway, the
don't
leader
show them fly. That's a fact.
They don't have the budget to even attempt it.
It doesn't matter. They still don't show them fly. They don't even pretend to show them fly.
Anyway. Anyway. What is the enemy? They're called the Jung. The Jun.
Jun.
Jun. The one leader of that slaughters Marc Singer's entire village. I haven't found this anywhere, so I don't know for sure. But is it me, or is he intentionally supposed to look like the Death Dealer, like Frank Frazetta's Death Dealer? He is, right?
Could be. I got that feeling, yeah.
I mean, even him just on the horse, like a big black horse with the horned, mask, with the fucking axe or sword, whatever he's, wielding at the moment. That's fucking Frank Frazetta's Death Dealer. Mm-hmm. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts. I'm convinced of it.
Well, but again, it's all the same stuff. That kind of, you're looking to copy the kind of imagery that Conan's taking from that kind of stuff. You're going to go to the same source material.
Well, the reason why I go with because yes, exactly, you're right, because Frank Frazetta did Conan. Plus, they were doing a movie Conan the same year, and it's just like it's almost like Sam Raimi's thing with Wes Craven. Just like, oh, here we're just going to stick that in there. Just kind of like a little fuck you. That's what I kind of took from that. That they threw the Death Dealer Frazetta thing to just kind of you got a Conan movie coming out. Well, we got this guy.
I think it was purely just trying to copy the genre, so to speak, by going to the same source material they were using. That's why
I think Coscarelli was a little bit of an elitist director. Sure,
but it just seems too. It seems too much of like an artistic fuck you to actually be worth the effort. I think it was just a matter of get somebody in there for Beastmaster to fight that doesn't look like James Earl Jones.
Well, yeah, because they offered.
You got James Earl Jones. I got John Amos. Hey, and he's not even a bad guy, so I upped you one.
Because they offered Coscarelli Conan the Destroyer, and he said no because he thought the script was shit.
I'm not a big fan of Conan myself, so I can't argue too much about that.
I'm a fan of the first film. The second film I have just because of nostalgic reasons, but in my opinion, to say that it was shit and that's why you didn't want to do it, just watch Beastmaster. This is only a couple of years. This is like a year after he did Beastmaster or so that they offered it to him. And of course he's going to be like, my fucking movie's awesome. Yet, what did he do after fucking Beastmaster? Bubba Hotep? Like 20 years fucking later?
Well,
as much as I liked Bubba Hotep,
I'm saying, you better not be bad-mouthing Bubba Hotep.
Of course not. But as much as I like Bubba Hotep, 20 years later, dude, come on. Maybe if he took the fucking big budget films, he might have been making more movies in between.
Yeah, and hindsight's 20/20. Let's be fair.
It always is.
Sure, but a lot of animals in Beastmaster. No, actually, not a lot. There's like 4. I take that back.
Who was it that said was W.C. Fields? Don't ever work with children or animals. And I thought it was this one.
I thought it was never work with children or Marc Singer. Now I have an issue with Marc Singer.
Do tell.
Not really a negative issue, but one of the films I watched with Marc Singer in it a lot as a child was the film If You Could See What I Hear.
Fuck, I was just going to bring that up. That was a movie where he was blind, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I watched that a lot as a kid. I thought it was funny. And he's based on a true story about a blind golfer, whatever. Not watched it recently. Doesn't hold up editing-wise. It's very kind of choppy. So
it's a TV movie. I mean, most TV movies from the early 80s were that bad.
That wasn't a television made for TV movie.
Wasn't it?
No, there's breasts in it.
Oh,
no,
really?
No. That's not made for TV.
Well, you know what? It had a TV movie feel to it. I always watched it on broadcast television. I never saw it on cable. So I just always assumed it was a TV movie.
No, it's not. But you're right. It does have that feel, even like how they wrap it up at the end. But I watched that so much that any other film I watch him in now, I think he's blind.
Oh yeah,
because he has that same stare.
He keeps his eyes open the whole film, and even one of the scenes in the film, I remember it vividly. The kid asked him, "Well, your eyes look normal." He's like, "Yeah, but I can't see." But the kid commented on his eyes, but he had that dead stare, like you're mentioning, and Blythe. it doesn't go away.
No, the name of the kid was Blythe.
Oh, I haven't seen it in forever, so
it's burned into my memory because the kid falls in the pool, and he screams Blythe for like 5 minutes. It's such an odd name.
when he's in the pool and he saves him. Yeah,
which is true, based on a true story. Yeah, so my problem is I'm watching Beastmaster. He's blind. When V came out, the big every time he's on screen, I'm like, it's blind. I can't shake the feeling that it's a blind character. So it's just something problem I have with Marc Singer.
Okay,
that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. All right.
Oh, I have a question. Exactly how does one keep a mote of tar hot?
It's called movie magic.
Okay, I just wanted to double check.
Because it ain't happening otherwise.
Right.
Yeah, that's... Unless it's magical, somehow.
It's a weird city. We have a mote of tar. That's short enough that you can jump over.
It's weird city.
Yeah. You could jump over the tar. I mean, it's not that far apart. A good run leap, you could probably make it. Especially with I think a horse could easily leap that.
I think
so. And I mean, if you're going to set it on fire, you could just fill it up with any other kind of flammable source. It would not necessarily tar. I mean, how do you replenish that? Doesn't the tar eventually cool and just get gunky and not really? So you could walk a. I mean, it seems like an impractical thing to fill a moat with.
I agree.
Especially if that's your main line of defense, besides the, the walls with one portcullis.
Every time he had one of his ferrets chew through something, I'm like, there's no way that this ferret is chewing through this in this amount of time.
First the giant branch, you gotta chew that much off, and then the rope.
Yeah. It's like, are you fucking kidding me?
At least one of the ferrets dies at the end. I give the film credit. It takes some risks. It kills one of the animals.
Yeah.
he kills the father after he finds out they're. Oh, spoiler alert! Kills the blind father after he like reunites with him. The father
he fillets
turns on
him
him.
Godfather 2 style, and I firmly believe that they did show it, but they cut it back, for the film because it probably was going to get an R rating for it. Because of the way he does it, he like as he's going down to stab the father, they cut away and you just hear it. You don't even see it. So it's like I bet that they had that there. I bet they had it. No, what's interesting too? I didn't notice until I looked it up on IMDb. The film's 2 hours. It's an hour and 58 minutes. But the VHS tape of it is only 90. They cut out a half an hour of the movie.
Really? On the VHS?
That's what it says. It says video, 90 minutes.
Now I have to see the 90-minute version.
Yeah, I got to find out what they cut. And if you can even still find it. I wonder if you can find it online. Just, I
mean, because like I said, the film doesn't really drag in any spots. It's evenly paced, so that there's no point where you're like, just come on already. Seriously, it's one of the few films we've watched in a while that doesn't really have a part where you're just kind of like, waiting for the next bit to happen. I'm not saying it's riveting, action-packed, but it's definitely got a pace to it that does not leave you like, falling asleep if you're, unless you're very, very tired. Listener just pointed out that the average chew speed of a ferret is actually quite amazing. Apparently it was on Mythbusters.
Really?
No, it's a joke, obviously.
It's a joke, okay. All right. Anyway. Are we done? Should we move into movie challenges? Should we rate it?
Yeah, I don't think there's any much else to say about the film. I've never seen the sequel they made, the Beastmaster 2.
Didn't they do 2 sequels? Isn't there a Beastmaster 2 and 3? I
thought there was just a Beastmaster. I'll double check right now, but I thought there was just a Beastmaster 2 and then a TV series that I think only lasted one season.
Let's see. Beastmaster. No, there is another one. Beastmaster, The Eye of Braxis.
Ooh. Made for TV.
Oh, it is made for TV?
Braxis, yeah, that's 1996.
Still technically a sequel, though. It's a full feature film.
Yeah, but it's a TV movie.
Doesn't matter. It's still a sequel.
I beg to differ.
Okay.
It's not a cinematic sequel.
Let's see.
I'm just saying. I really don't like...
Beastmaster, The Eye of Braxis did have a theatrical release. It came out May 24th, 1996.
But it says TV movie. Shit. Okay. And then Beastmaster, the TV series, which I've got to see now. God, this looks horrible.
All right. Yeah, it came out...
65 episodes?
How the fuck did they do that?
You're fucking kidding me. 65. How long was this on?
It's like
99.
That's like 3 years.
To 2000. Yeah, 99 to 2002. You got to be fucking kidding me. They made 65 episodes of a Beastmaster TV show.
Was that like Sci-Fi Channel or something?
Oh, I've no idea what channel it was on. I don't know if it tells you that here.
Well, here's the thing. It came out theatrically, the third film, Eye of Braxis. It came out theatrically only in America. In Italy, Germany, and Japan, it was all a video premiere.
Oh, shit. They're like 1 hour episodes, too. It's not even like a half-hour show.
You know what? I never saw, like, you said you never saw the sequel, right? The second one, Portal of Time?
No.
I never saw that, and I obviously have never seen the third one either. I think I have to watch those.
Yeah, I mean, this must have been like around Xena time. Oh. Yeah, I don't know how to tell what channel it was on. It had to be like TBS or something.
The cover, the poster for Beastmaster 3 is so bad. Their heads are too big for their bodies. I don't know what the fuck they did.
Let's be fair. The movie posters for all three films are very bad.
Yeah, the first one. I mean, usually in the late 70s, early 80s, they had some pretty decent movie posters. But the one for Beastmaster is atrocious.
Oh, our listeners are geniuses here, apparently. Or they just have way too much time on their hands. The Beastmaster TV show was on Channel 11.
Oh, fucking WB. Fucking Pix.
Was 11 the WB?
Yeah, it was. It was WB for a while. Now it's Pix 11. But back then, it was probably, at that time period, it was definitely the WB.
I told you about that, about the people that had to work there, right?
Well, you know what? It was...
I mean, did I tell you about that with the people that had to work at the WB?
No.
When they answered the phone, they actually had to say, thank you for calling the WB.
And you know what that stood for? We're black.
That's racist, sir.
Well, the only reason why it was dubbed that was because of the amount of urban programming that they had. It was incredible how much that. No, In Living Color was Fox, but like I think it was that Martin Lawrence show. Martin was on there, I think.
Jesus Christ!
But it was just an incredible amount of black programming. Yeah, Apartment 227. I think that was, I don't know. But they had a lot, like the Wayans Brother TV show was on there. They just had a ton of black programming, so it was...
I'm still convinced even the frog was black.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime doll.
Exactly.
Anyway,
okay,
all right, let's go ahead and rate this.
Way too much television talk going on here, yeah.
Fucking A, right.
Current rating on IMDb is 6.1 for Beastmaster.
Seems kind of high to me.
I
would have given this a fucking 10 when I was a kid, but as an adult, I think 6 is kind of high. I'd say it's average. I'd say 5 is appropriate.
You know what?
Just because of the quality of other sword and fantasy films that were out at the same time period.
Excuse me?
Like Conan the Barbarian. Just production value, even acting. Just the cinematography, yes, it's good in this.
Acting, but camel, what acting?
It can't. It's just not better than Conan.
They both have witches too. Both movies have witches too. You can't tell me. Both movies have witches.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I think 5 is an appropriate score for it. Definitely nothing lower.
I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna agree with a 5 on that.
I think 6 is a little high. I think it's once you go 6, it's like, well, are there any other redeeming qualities that could get it to a 7? No, there isn't. There's plenty that can get it down to a 5.
Yeah, I'd say a 5.
All right, 5 is good. Now, all right, let's go ahead and end the show then. All right, everybody.
Do I have anything I wanted to...
I guess not.
So. Never mind. No, go ahead.
You can add it at the end. Episode 139 of Moviesucktastic. Thank you again, as always, for joining us. You can go to our website at moviesucktastic.com and download our shows there. We are one of the only shows, apparently, that does that.
Does what?
Lets our show. You can download our show from iTunes and our website. So if you lose one, huh? Apparently, not a lot of other shows do that. They tend to host it in one spot, and when that spot goes away, they scramble.
Oh, we have to get the app done like this week.
This week?
Or next week. You know what I mean. We need to get the app done.
Actually, you know what? Next week is good. I don't have any jobs planned, so I can work on it.
You'll all be downloading the app next week. We'll tell you where to go then.
Fantastic. All right. Go to iTunes. You can get our shows there as well. Leave us some reviews there. We always appreciate that. You can email us at themovieguys@moviesucktastic.com. You can leave us voicemail at 908-514-4470. You can also go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/moviesucktastic. You go to our Tumblr page at moviesucktastic.tumblr.com. You can also do a search for us in your favorite search engine, and we'll come up everywhere.
Everywhere.
Anything you wanted to add?
My name is Dar.
Or Dar. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you next week.
Next week, not in a month from now. Next week, definitely.
That's right. Next week.
Promise. You can stop recording.